like to tell you that what we are right now doing, this project is for empowering girls in the field of IT and IT-enabled sectors. And this project has been funded by Asia Connect, which is an external action of European Union. And with the help of government of Korea and European Union, this project has been established. And the idea is to train students as well as teachers who can work for the sustainability of our mission of empowering girls in IT and IT-enabled sectors. So with this, over to you, Dr. Das. On behalf of two coordinators, Neelam Dayal and myself, I welcome you here, and over to you. I hope you can share the screen. Thank you.
All right. So thank you, madam, for your introductions. Okay. So yeah, I'm sharing. I think it is visible now, right?
Yes, visible.
Okay, yeah.
Is it possible? Yeah, thank you. I just was, thank you.
Is it okay now, right? Fine?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much for inviting me, though it is online, so I could not make it offline. Hopefully that in future we'll be making offline here. So today that these sessions motivations is to address the cryptographic primitives. So mainly on the public key-based cryptographic primitives, and also the uses of one-way hash functions, cryptographic hash functions, and digital signatures, and their role in playing in the blockchain technologies. And then I'll connect that how these cryptographic primitives are basically connected to developing the blockchain technologies. Okay. So nowadays that blockchain technology is one of the emerging field. It is not like that blockchain technology has come very early, but it existed before even 30 years ago. So that was in forms of cryptographic primitives only. Okay. So now that people have found that several applications, for example, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, etc., but unfortunately due to certain political or financial issues, the Bitcoin cryptocurrency are not popular in India and other places. That's why the researcher that found that blockchain technologies can be applied in several applications. For example, it could be in healthcare, it could be in smart grid, supply chain, why not all the ideas. Okay. So that's why that we have now new concept, something known as the blockchain of things. It's just like your Internet of Things. Okay. That we'll touch about little bit later. So about me, so I'm Das here. So currently that I'm a full professor in IIIT Hyderabad. Okay. So the might be that you don't know about the IIIT Hyderabad a little bit. So we don't have any here department. Of course that we don't have computer science and engineering department, but under that we are having something concept, something known as the centers, and they are termed as the research centers. So since my area aligns to the security, therefore I have been affiliated to a center which is called Center for Security Theory and Algorithmic Research. So here the idea is that so the faculty members, those who are aligned to certain areas, they are affiliated to the center for better research, blah blah blah, other activities. Okay. So you can reach me in my email address, ashok.das@iit.ac.in. Also for my more information, it is available my IIIT Hyderabad website, and more detailed informations which are available at Google sites here, sites.google.com view IIT-KGP. Okay. And also that I would like to have that research collaborations. So after the talk, or even for 24th talk, where I'll talk about applications of the blockchains. So if you are really interested for exciting research, and you want to collaborate, so you are free to contact me. So therefore, in today's session, so I'll talk very briefly about the cryptography, though I know you know cryptography, but for the sake of better understanding to the whole audience, I'll introduce a little bit of cryptography. Then I'll talk about the public key-based cryptography, and one variant of cryptography, something known as the elliptic curve-based cryptography. Then I'll talk about something known as the digital signatures. Then I'll try to connect how all these cryptography primitives, they are useful in building blockchains in the blockchain technologies. Okay, so that is the intuitive idea or for today's talk. Okay, but in the later talk in June 24th, so I'll talk about a specific applications of blockchain technologies where we can apply the blockchain technologies for better security of the systems and also better secure storage rather than simply storing the data in the semi-trusted cloud environment. So about me, so I have my PhD, MTech and Masters from IIT Kharagpur. So, and my research interest mainly lies in the intersections of cryptography, network security. Also that I have very good research team at IIT Hyderabad, also several collaborations throughout the world. So where we do world-class research in blockchain and also security in various domains, for example, IoT, IoV, Internet of Vehicles, Internet of Drones, smart grid, smart city, etc. So apart from that, also that I do work on something known as intrusion detections. So here malicious nodes in a network needs to be detected and to be removed from the network. So then I also work on the AI/ML security. So this is one of the fastest growing field because that you know that in machine learning or artificial intelligence domain, that your training data is considered as the heart of the predictions or basically of the machine learning models. So therefore, next questions come that if your training data is corrupted or not genuine, that may impact significantly on the correct predictions. So as a result, so for an organization, it will be bad reputations if the predictions or something is wrong. So due to the corrupt data being analyzed using AI/ML based models. So currently that we are also having research team here, also collaborations work, including my PhD students who are working on the post-quantum cryptography. So this is also another exciting idea because all the number theoretical based algorithms, for example, public key based algorithms, if you talk about the RSA algorithms, if you talk about the differential key exchange algorithms, so you talk about the elliptic curve based cryptography algorithms, all the algorithms, if you see, their hardness or security that lies on the hardness of the problems like integer factorations problem, discrete logarithm problems, defilement key problems, etc. But in recently that we are having that significant advance in the quantum that era. So in near future, we are also expecting that quantum computers will come in practice. And if the quantum computers come in practice, then it is possible using the source algorithms, which is one of the algorithms, famous algorithms in post-quantum cryptographic era. So that is possible to break your integer factoration problems, defilement problems, etc. So in feasible time using the quantum, that is computers. So then the questions come that how to make some techniques or cryptographic protocols that will be resistant to the basically the quantum attacks. So one of the work that currently we are doing, so which is known as the lattice-based cryptography. So which is based on the lattice, and you know that lattice is nothing but a vector space. So here we are having a basis of n linearly independent vectors. And using those vectors, it is possible to construct any vector in the vector space. So based on the concept of the vectors and vector multiplications or additions, etc., it is possible to your encrypt data, decrypt data, even to design the digital signature scheme, sign encryption scheme, etc. And it has been shown that lattice-based cryptography, so there are several problems are there. For example, you can have something known as the shortest vector problem, integer solutions problem, smallest integer solutions problem, etc. They are very, very hard problem, even in the quantum computing scenario. So that's why post-quantum cryptography using lattice-based cryptography is now one of the very, very emerging field. And if you want to really do the research on these directions. But again, that it requires something known as the linear algebra, something probability theory, the statistics little bit, etc. So in order to do the stuff here, because it will be little more mathematical sides here. So as far as the research highlight or research outcomes are concerned, so I am fortunate that I have having my wonderful research collaborations throughout the globe, wonderful research students, etc. So there are some statistics are there. So there are total 355 publications are there. And I mostly focus on very top level journal forums. So number of journal papers is more than 300. And then book chapters is 9. And significantly that number of IEEE transactions, IEEE journals or IEEE magazines papers are around 120. So you can know the details list of my publications at sites.google.com, view IIT research publications. Okay. So then, so we have also published in top venues. So if you look at first one, so IEEE transactions on information forensic security, which is regarded as the toughest security journal in the world. So next toughest is something known as the IEEE transactions on dependable secure computing. Then we are having published also in several other venues. For example, IEEE transactions on cloud computing, which is premier transactions in cloud computing. We are having something known as the IEEE transactions on intelligent transportation systems or vehicular technology, vehicular directions. We can have IEEE transactions on industrial informatics and IEEE transactions on smart grid, all these things are there. So also that I am also part of the editorial committees of several journals, for example, IEEE system journals. I'm one of the associate editor there. So Journal of Networks and Computer Applications, Elsevier, where I am one of the editor. Technical Program Committee as editor in computer communications. And apart from that, I also had opportunity to have the guest editorship in some of the journals, for example, Computers Electrical Engineering, Elsevier, ICT Express, Elsevier, Wireless Communications, and Mobile Computing from Willy journals. Okay. So then there are some of the significant achievements. So so far that there are more than 17,100 Google Scholar citations with impressive H-index 78. And you might be knowing that H-index is nothing but the number where your at least H publications will have H citations, and where I-10 index is nothing but how many your publications has at least 10 publications, 10 citations for the publications. And obviously, by the definition, so I-10 is a little bit low. So, but H index is growing very, very slowly as compared to I-10 index. So then also that fortunate to have that I have been included in the highly cited researcher Web of Science list in 2022 for the recognitions of exceptional research performance in the top 1% field at year. So also that I have consecutively listed in 3 times in the Stanford University's top 2% most influential scientist list for the years 2021, 20, and 2019. Also, there are certain databases there, for example, World Scientist and University ranking, where in computer science India ranking. So my rank is something 5 or something. And research.com, so which is was known as the earlier guide, research to guide. So that is one of the very renowned uh, uh, ranking for computer science for the scientists. So in India, leader award has been there for 2022 and 23. Okay. So these are the some of the things. So also that I visited as visiting faculty at Old Dominion University, Norfolk, USA, with the something known as the Virginia Modeling Analysis and Simulation Center in 2022. Okay. So where that we explored something how to simulate actually the a network, or for example IoT environment, etc. How to capture the data and how to communicate among the devices, all these things. Okay. So also that I have significant research collaborations. For example, Professor Fazal Kedas, IEEE fellow from US University, Professor Mauro Conti, University of Padua, Italy, Professor Willy Susile is there, IEEE fellow, University of Wollongong, Australia, and also the Dusit is there, Niato, who is from NTU Singapore. So apart from that, we have collaborations, for example, from SUTD Singapore, even from that National University of Singapore, in US, Singapore, etc. Okay. Okay, so with this little introduction, so let me to talk about little bit about something known as what is known as cryptography. Okay. So in the cryptography, so we are having that popularly two parties. For example, we are having user A, known as Alice. So Alice wants to make a communication securely with another user, say Bob here. So the medium, so by which that Alice and Bob will communicate, that is basically not the secure channel, but it is the public channel. So what is the public channel? Public channel means that any unknown party or third party rather than sender or receiver, known as the adversary or intruder or attacker, who can eavesdrop or listen the communications between Alice and Bob. And not only that, the adversary can also modify the data, insert the fake informations, delete the information's content from the message during the communications. So then the next questions come that can we make the communication secure though we are having channel to be public channels? So answer is yes. So this is done by with the help of something known as cryptography. So as a definition of cryptography, it is a study of mathematical techniques or mathematical functions rather than mathematical functions, so which are related to provide various aspects of information security, for example, confidentiality or privacy, data integrity. That means that data in between the communications should not be altered or modified. We are having authentications. It could be either entity or identity authentications. It could be message authentications. So from here, the message has been originated, etc. Then we can have something known as the non-repudiations is there. So that means that suppose Alice has sent a message to the Bob, so later Bob should not deny that the message from Alice has not been received by the Bob. So which is dealing with something known as the denial of service attack. So with this concept, so we are having basically the two types of adversary. So one is known as the passive adversary. So passive adversary is nothing but an adversary who will be able to only read or eavesdrop or intercept the informations from a public channel and not beyond that anything. And whereas that we are having something known as the active adversary, who will be an adversary capable of not only reading the informations, but can also modify, delete, or insert fake informations that during the communications. Now, if we look at these two definitions, one is known as the passive adversary versus active adversary. So it is very hard to distinguish or to detect a passive adversary existence, because the passive adversary is only reading the informations. So therefore, it is very hard to detect it. So however, on the other hand, active adversary is very, very dangerous adversary because it is not only reading the informations, whereas it is also capable of modifying, deleting, or inserting the fake informations that during the communications. So with this little bit concept, so we talk about this one, something known as the cryptographic goals or objectives. First objective known as the privacy or confidentiality, which is a service of keeping information secret from others, those who are authorized to see it. So meaning that apart from sender or receiver, no other third party will be able to see the secret message. Then we are having data integrity, which will ensure that information has not been altered or modified by any unauthorized or unknown means or by an adversary. Then we are having the entity authentications, which is also known as the identifications, so which deals with corroborations of identity of an entity. For example, identity could be a person's identity, a computer terminal's identity, credit card identity, etc. So we can have something known as the message or data origin authentications. So which deals with the identity or authenticating the source of information, means from which source the message or data has been originated. Then we are having something known as the non-repudiations, so which will prevent the denial of previous sessions or preventing malicious node to hide their activities. So apart from that, we are having some other objectives, something known as the authorizations. So authorizations meaning that it will convey to another entity such as a person, or even it could be a group of users, in order to ensure that nodes, those who are authorized to give the network services only, and there should not be any malicious nodes, they can enter to the networks and provide the network service. Then we are having the signatures, or it is also known as the digital signatures, so which will be a means of binding information to an entity. The entity could be a message, entity could be identity of the entity. So if we attach some or bind some informations, and using the informations, if we can verify the informations along with the message, then we'll say that the signature is verified. So that we'll talk about a little bit later. So then apart from that, we are having something like the access control. So for example, if we look at a scenario, so we are having a hospital. So in the hospital, we are having several hierarchies. For example, the CEO of the hospital is there. Then we can have the directors of the department. So under the directors, we can have several doctors, several nurses, then patients, etc. there. And apart from all these things, we can have the insurance companies, you can have the diagnostic centers, you can have the admin, all these things are there. So in this hierarchy, it may be noticed that a user may not need to have or access all the informations. For example, if I am a patient in a hospital, I am only entitled to see my own history, patient history, medical history, and no other medical history is available for me. And if it is a doctor, say for example, cardiologist doctor, probably cardiologist doctor can only consult the information of a patient belonging to the cardiologist department, and in rare case in some other centers or departments. Not all the informations is available to the doctor. Then another thing is something known as the certifications or digital certificates. So it is dealing with something known as the endorsement of informations by a trusted authority. So sometimes what happens that, say I am having a trusted authority TA. So TA, what will do that TA will generate a digital certificate on behalf of the somebody. And then digital certificates will be issued to me. And if I want to authenticate to other fellows, so what I'll do that, I'll send my certificates to the other fellow. And other fellow can verify my certificates and can treat me that I am an authenticated user in the network. So one of the beautiful properties that certificate, so which is issued by the trusted authority, is generated using some private key or secret key of the trusted authority. So hence, the digital certificates can be only issued by a trusted authority and nobody can generate the certificate. So however, my certificate can be verified by anybody, including the attacker, because it requires only the public information. So apart from that, there are two other good properties are there in cryptographic primitives, or in the achieving the objectives or goals. So which are known as something known as the forward secrecy and backward secrecy. So if we say talk about a scenario where say a node or user wants to leave the network, so then what we need to do that we should restrict the user or node to read any future messages when it departs the network. And similar concept, so the reverse of the concept, something known as the backward secrecy. So when somebody say enters to the network now, that fellow will be only allowed to know so what the future the communications will take place, not all the previous history or previous transmitted messages. So that is something known as the forward secrecy and backward secrecy. And these are also two objectives are required very much because, say for example, during a communications, if somebody say session key is say compromised, that says compromise of the session key should not reveal any information, so that attacker will be able to derive all the past session keys and future session keys. So that means that if compromise of a session key does not lead to any informations, then we will be able to basically that achieve forward as well as backward secrecy. Okay. So therefore, to deal with that, so what is suggested that suppose that Bob or Alice has a message in plain text message in. So plain text message in means, say, for example, say message maybe say meet me after New Year party in some other places, okay, or sometime. So what that this secret message that Alice will do that instead of sending the plain text message directly to the Bob, so what Alice will do that Alice will transform this message using a functions, transformations, or technique, something known as the encryption techniques. So here uppercase E is nothing but the encryption transformations or functions, which will take some secret informations known as the encryption key, small e, and it will take message as the input, and it will produce something text, something known as a ciphertext. So therefore, instead of the message M, sending the message M, we are sending, Alice is sending ciphertext to the Bob or user. So what Bob will do that after receiving this ciphertext message, see that with the help of the reverse transformation, something known as the decryption functions, uppercase D, it will use the corresponding decryption key, lowercase d, and it will take the ciphertext as the input and recover or produces the plain text message. Now that if we look at that in between the communications, that adversary presence of adversary allows to adversary to read this ciphertext message. Therefore, the adversary what wants to do that wants to try to recover what is the plain text from the given ciphertext without knowing the decryption key. And in cryptographic settings, what we want that the encryptions and decryptions process by the sender and receiver will be done in the polynomial time or very easily. Whereas without having the secret information or secret key, the task for the adversary must be very, very hard problem. In computer science, what we talk about it is the NP hard problem to decipher a ciphertext C to recover the plain text message. So this is the notion is that, so therefore in cryptography, what we want that encryption decryption part should be done in the polynomial time if the encryption and decryption keys are available to sender and receiver. So whereas the cryptanalysis part by adversary must be NP hard problem or very, very difficult problem. So NP hard problem means that meaning that we are telling that say if say to recover the plain text from the ciphertext, its adversary needs more than 10 years time, more than 100 years times to recover the plain text message from the ciphertext message. That kind of hard problem here we are talking about that. Okay. So therefore the question is that security of any developed cryptographic techniques. So if you look at that here, the assumption is that the algorithm for the encryption and decryption we are making in public. So this is because due to the one reason is that if my encryption decryptions are made public, but my keys are secret, so if the keys is somehow revealed to the adversary, then only I can only change the key, and no need to basically the change or update my encryption and decryption functions because they are public. So that's why that it is widely assumption is that algorithms for encryption decryptions are made public, including the attacker knows your encryption decryption functions, whereas we are keeping the keys to be made secrets that is known to only sender and receiver only. So obviously under these assumptions, very, very hard assumptions, that we need to develop some crypto system, and that's why it is a challenging task. But it is possible that to build a crypto system which is very, very secure, and that's why the security of the scheme that entirely depends on secrecy of the key. So secrecy of the key means that if my key has not been revealed, the encryption decryption functions are designed in such a way that adversary will not be able to know what is my original plain text message from the given ciphertext message. So in this case, that will define one term, something known as the breakability part. So this cryptanalysis part is dealing with how to break the system by adversary. So for example, we are having say encryption scheme, which is also known as the cipher or crypto systems. We will tell that it is breakable. So meaning that if a third party, say for example an adversary, so if adversary does not know your encryption decryption key, can the adversary still recover plain text from the ciphertext message within some appropriate time frame, is in polynomial time. So meaning that can adversary can recover say plain text message from ciphertext message in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or 1 hour, say 1 second, etc. So that is the polynomial time. So then what is the goal of that is that, so as you have told earlier, so the breakability or cryptanalysis by adversary, we want to make it very, very hard problem, that is NP hard problem. So in this direction, so one of the easiest attack to be mounted by the adversary is something known as the brute force attack. So what brute force attack talks about that, say suppose if we are having a key of say n bits key is there, then total number of possible keys will be 2 power n. So 2 power n possible keys will be there in the key space. So what adversary can do that, giving a ciphertext C, adversary can try with the first key. If it is not successful, it can try with the second key, try with the third key, and so on, try with the last key in the key space. So therefore, in this case, the adversary, what is doing that, adversary is exhausting the key space sequentially one by one until the adversary gets it successfully that recover the plain text from the ciphertext message. And that's why it is known as the brute force attacks or something known as the exhaustive search of the key space, because you are enter you are exhausting or enters key space of the keys during this process. Now, this is one of the interesting that observations has been taken here. So, which is known as the what is meant by security lies in keys using brute force attack. For example, say if somebody uses 32 bits key size only, then our number of alternative keys will be 2 power 32, which is equal to 4.3 into 10 power 9 keys in the key space. Say, for example, we are having, say, powerful now devices or machines are there. So one kind of machine, say, for example, it can do 1 decryption per microsecond. So another, say, more powerful machine is there, say, for example, 10 power 6 decryptions per microsecond. And say, for example, an adversary has, say, such kind of machines, 10 power 6 decryption per microsecond with the speed the machine is there. Now, if you see that if that we use only 32-bit key size, then with these powerful machines to break the system, it requires only 2.15 milliseconds. Now, if we that increase the key bit size, say 32 to 56 bit, number of alternative keys in the key space will be 7.2 into 10 power 16. It requires 10.01 hours. Now, if we say increase the key size 128 or 160 bits key size, then you will see that it is becoming very hard problem or NP hard problem for the adversary to break the crypto systems. So from this table, one can relate that there is a very strong relationship between the security of the system versus the number of bits that will be used in the key. So hence, higher the key bit size leads to the higher security. But the next question is that can we say use very high bit size in the key? So answer is no, because for applications, it is dependent on applications. For example, there are applications, say Internet of Things applications, where say devices are resource constant devices. So in this case, we can't use a very high key bit size because that will lead to slow down your encryption and decryption functions. Because if the key bit size is more, that is certainly giving the high security, but at the same time, because your key is also related to your encryption and decryption process, that encryption and decryption process will be also very slow. So that meaning that encryption decryption requires more time or more power will be basically required for encryption and decryptions. That will be hard for the resource constant devices. As a result, so what we are talking about here, that there is a better trade-off between the size of the key used in the crypto system versus that encryption and decryption speed of the system. For example, if it is a cloud server, because it is the very resource rich, we can use 160-bit key size with the very high security, because their encryption and decryption speed will not be a problem. But the resource constant devices, so we should set reasonable security of the system, because your encryption and decryption functions needs to be faster. So with this concept, so we are having the two types of here crypto systems. So one is known as the symmetric based crypto systems, or it is also known as the conventional crypto systems. So in this case, what happens that, say we are having, say, encryption transformation E characterized by the encryption key. We are having the key space where E the encryption key, and we can have the corresponding decryption transformations known as the uppercase D characterized by the decryption key D. So such kind of encryption key is called S key or symmetric key, because so
given encryption decryption key pair E comma D, it is computationally easy to derive either E from D or D from E, because they are derivable from each other easily, and most of the cases that encryption and decryption key are taken either D. So that's why sometimes that people call it either single key, one key, private key, or conventional encryption scheme also. So pictorially, what we can tell that a model, so where we are having the message source or sender is there, which is the messages. So then what will require that it requires a key, symmetric key between sender and receiver. This establishment of the secret key is done using the public key based setting. We'll talk about a little bit later, something known as the Diffelman key exchange protocol. So that will allow to establish a secret key between sender and receiver. So once they share secret key prior to communications, then the sender will use this established key K and will encrypt this plaintext message X to convert to the ciphertext, and ciphertext will be sent to the destinations. So what destinations will do that? Destinations will apply the decryption algorithms with the help of the same secret key K to produce the original plaintext message X. But if you look at the in-between communications, we are having a cryptanalyst or attacker is there. So which is intercepting the ciphertext message Y. So from there, it is trying to recover what is the original plaintext is used communications, or more precisely, what is the key is used in the communications. So please note that the attacker in this point is very much interested to derive the key, because if attacker can derive the key K, then any ciphertext that is transmitted between the sender and receiver all can be decrypted using the same key K here. So this is something known as the symmetric key based encryptions technique. So obviously that one of the assumptions it is used here that the sender and receiver, they are trusted to each other. So meaning that it is because that they are sharing the same secret key among them. So that's why they are trusted. Now let us look at another model. So here is known as the public key based encryption model. So where sender and receiver, they don't trust each other, then what they will do. So that's why it is also known as the asymmetric key encryptions. So in that case, what has been done is that, so there should be an algorithms to produce public key and private key, or encryption and decryption key pairs E comma D, known as the public private key pairs, in such a way that if somebody knows my public key, it will be very hard to deduce the private key from the public key. So therefore, there are key generations algorithms of public key based crypto system that will take care of that things. Okay. So in the public key based crypto systems, we are having the two types of applications. One can be encryptions, message encryptions, another could be digital signature. So what is the message encryptions? So in this case, suppose that Bob is the sender, it has the plaintext messages, and Bob wants to communicate securely with the Alice. So Alice is known as the destinations. So in the public key based settings, that as we have told that every entity in the network, they will generate their own private key, public key pairs. And say for example, Alice generates its private key and public key, keeps the private key to be private and kept secret to the Alice, but Alice can reveal the public key to all, including the attacker. Now here the Bob is there. So what Bob will do, Bob has a public key. For example, public key of Joy, public key of Mike, public key of Alice, public key of Ted, in order to communicate with those fellows. Now say for example, Bob wants to communicate secretly with the Alice for the messages. So what Bob will do? So Bob will fetch the public key of the Alice. Then the Bob will encrypt the messages with the help of the public key of the Alice. And then it will transfer the ciphertext to the Alice. And Alice is the only fellow who can decrypt it because Alice has the matching private key, that is PRA. Then it will apply the decryption algorithms with the help of the private key on the ciphertext, which will produce the original plaintext messages. So that is which is the beauty of the public key-based crypto systems. So that means that, so for example, in real life scenario, for example, you can say send me any message in my email address ashok.das@it.ac.in, which is the public email address. But I am the only fellow I can check your email from my inbox because it requires the private key, which is known as my password. So without my password, nobody can see the message. Okay, so that is very, very analogous to the public key-based crypto systems. Then another kind of significant applications of the public key-based crypto system, something known as the digital signature. So what digital signature tells that if somebody has a message, so what it will do that it will generate a piece of signature and informations that will be encrypted using the private key of the signer known as the Bob here. So Bob will sign the message X with its own private key. Then the message along with the signature will be sent to the Alice here. Now Alice will use only the public informations of the Bob, that is public key. So it will recover the plaintext message using the public key. Then it will check whether the message X, decrypted message, and this sent message is same or not. If they are same, then basically the signature is verified. So this is another applications of the signature, digital signatures. So in order to produce the digital signature, what is the concept is used that the signer who is signing the message will produce the signature with the help of its own private key. And any verifier, including the attacker, can verify the signature with the help of the public informations of the signer. But only the signer who can generate the signature, because generations of the signature requires the private key of the signer, which is available to the signer only. And nobody else in the network can generate the signature on behalf of the original signer. So that is the concept, something like the digital signature. Okay. Yeah, any questions or in between? Because I talk a lot, okay? Any questions? Any questions in between? Yes, one of the questions that posted by Sankaran Day, quantum crypto techniques, okay, can bring down time required to break the key. Yes, answer is yes. So that's why we require something known as the post-quantum cryptography lattice-based crypto systems, which is resistant to quantum attacks. So their key size is used in such a way that even the quantum computers cannot recover the key in polynomial time. Okay. Okay, so live applications of the private key encryptions. So private key encryptions means that your symmetric key based encryptions, say for example, say through the defilement key exchange algorithms, you establish a key between you and me, and I and you can establish secure communications using the same session key, okay, using the symmetric key based encryption techniques. Okay. Now, WhatsApp, WhatsApp that uses kind of public key based crypto systems along with the symmetric key based crypto systems. In WhatsApp, you know that when say you chatting to somebody, that you and that fellow's device, they establish a session key first using the public key based crypto systems. Then that session key is used for encrypting each and every chat using the symmetric based crypto systems. Okay. For example, AES or DS algorithms, it is used in order to encrypt and decrypt the data. So that is a mix of first part is applications of the public key based crypto system followed by your private key encryptions. Okay, yeah, so all right. So we'll continue. Yeah, so one of the examples that we'll highlight here, so something is known as RSA algorithms. So it was one of the very famous algorithms that is regarded as public key based cryptographic that algorithms. So it was invented in 1978 by three greatest scientists. So Rives, Samir, and Edelman at MIT, USA. And by their name, so it has been taken as R from the Rives is for the Samir, A for the Edelman. That's why to honor these algorithms, so by their name, this algorithm is known as the RSA algorithms. So they invented these pioneer algorithms. So they also received the ACM Turing Awards, which is equivalent to a Nobel Prize in Computer Science for this pioneer work. And interestingly, this approach is based on elementary number theory concept only. So intuitively, what RSA algorithm tells that, and suppose that you have having a plain text message, this is a triple IT Hyderabad. You first encode that message in some numeric value. We'll also take one of the example here. And that, say, numeric value will be in such a way that that value will be in between 0 and some number, something known as the n. So where n will be, say, product of two primes, large primes, P and Q. And a typical size of the n will be 1024 bits or 309 decimal digits in order to provide the sufficient security of the RSA algorithms. So what these algorithms inventors are there? This is the Professor Ronald Rives from MIT. This is Adi Samir, and this is Leonard M. Edelman from Stanford University. Okay, so these algorithms have three parts. First part, something known as the key generations, so which will allow to generate by each and every entity to have their private and public key pairs. Then we are having the encryption algorithms, which will encrypt a message to produce a ciphertext. Then we will have the decryption algorithms, which will decrypt to recover the original plaintext message from the given ciphertext message. So in this key generation algorithms is run by each and every entity in the network. For example, one of the applications, if you take, say, for example, you are having a LAN. In the LAN, several computers are connected or several users are connected. So then each and every user can run these key generation algorithms to obtain their private public key pairs. Then each and every users in the LAN, local area networks, can keep its own secret key or private key and broadcast the public key to all. Okay. So therefore, in order to do so, what entity will do? That entity will select randomly two large prime numbers P and Q. They are distinct, and then it will. And you know what is a prime number? Prime number means its only positive factors are 1 and itself, 1 and P only. That means that there is no non-trivial divisors of theirs that will divide that number. Then what it will do that, you will calculate something known as the modulus n equal to that product of two large prime numbers P and Q. Then you calculate something known as some functions name is there, something Euler's phi functions or Euler-Tosian functions. So which is simply nothing but P minus 1 into Q minus 1. So if you look at this function structure, so P and Q are large prime, and you know that in the prime number series, 2 is only the even prime, otherwise all primes are odd primes. So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, all these things. Apart from 2, all primes are odd numbers. Therefore, if we take the PQ are very large, therefore P minus 1 becomes even, Q minus 1 becomes even. So phi of n becomes essentially even. So then what will do that you select an integer e randomly in between 1 and phi and say that greatest common divisor between e and phi of n equal to 1, which means that you choose e such a way that e is relatively prime to phi of n. Then you calculate d, which is equal to modular inverse of e modulo phi of n. Then you make public key either e comma n and private key either d comma n. So please note that the e and d relationship is here. So since we are not making any private phi of n to be public, only n is public. So meaning that if you can derive P and Q from n, which is known as the integer factorations problem, and which is very, very hard problem when n is very large, particularly n is 1024 bits number, then without having P and Q, we can't derive phi of n, because phi of n derivations require the prime factors P and Q. That's why they are secret. And without having the phi of n, nobody, it is very hard to derive the decryption key D from the public key E here. So that is the security of the RSA algorithms hinges on the difficulty of the integer factorations problem. Okay. So once the private and public keys are derived, therefore what that party will keep its own private key, its own secret, and public to be made public. So let us assume that, say, Bob wants to send a message M whose encoded numerical value is less than n, product of two primes, to produce the ciphertext message C. And therefore the Bob requires the public key E comma n of Alice. It will use the public key to produce ciphertext C equal to modular exponentiations m power e modulo n. Then the ciphertext will be sent to the Alice. Now Alice has its own private key D comma n. So therefore it will use D comma n to decrypt the ciphertext C to recover the plaintext message M as C power D modulo n. So this is the beauty of this algorithm. This is just one line code, okay? So C equal to M power E modulo n, M equal to C power D modulo n. And where the security of the RSA algorithms hinges on the security of the integer factorations problem. Now, security of the RSA algorithms mainly that based on integer factorations problem, so which tells that given a composite number n of the form P comma Q to find prime factors of P and Q. And it is very, very open problem. Not so far this problem has been solved when n is very large. Okay. So let us take one of the example to have the real live applications of the RSA algorithms, how RSA algorithms basically works in real life. Suppose says somebody say Alice say received the ciphertext message produced by RSA algorithms with the public key comma n equal to this one. Say ciphertext blocks are there. This is the first ciphertext block, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. And he wants Alice wants to determine what is the plaintext message. So let us use that standard encoding scheme. The A you assigns to the 01 numeric value, B 02, Z 26, say comma is 27, dot is 28, question mark is 29, 0 digit is the 31 is the 31, this is the 40, and 00 is the blank space. Then what is that here? So if you look at the Alice private public key pairs, so that is already calculated. Just we have shown it here for simplicity. So if you use the extended Euclid GCD algorithms, the D is coming as the 7. Private key of Alice is here 7, 1643. So Alice already has its own private key 7, 1643. So we are having the given ciphertext block C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6 is there. So what are already received in the message. So therefore, what we'll do that we'll decrypt each and every ciphertext block using the private key D command. So if you apply first plaintext block M1 equal to C1 for D modulo N, we'll get 180. M2 equal to C2 for D modulo N 516. And so on. M6 equal to C6 for D, which is equal to 523. Now, in order to recover the original plaintext message, what we need to do that we need to concatenate each and every plaintext block M1, then M2, M3, M4, M5, M6. And if we do it, concatenate do it, and if we separate into 2 digits for decoding purpose, so 18, then 05, 16, 12, 25, 00, 14, 15, and 23. Now, if you substitute back this value with the again alphabets, your 18 will be R, 05. So 05 means here 1, 2, 3. C means 3, D means 4, E means 5, 05. And 00 means here blank space is 00. So if this message actually Bob is sending to Alice that okay, reply now. And this is how basically your public key based RSA algorithms works. And more precisely, that if you look at some of the demo here, you can look at the demo for more illustration purpose. That you will see that I think the website, I don't know. Is it something? That may be down to something. It is coming. So I will also share this slide, so please have a look later. So for example, this is on illustrations private key. They have used a 204 bits private key public key pairs. All these things are there. So otherwise, for example, here, say if you auto generate, say P and Q, all these things are there. And okay, so generate cage. say you can enter say the plain text as the triplet is a Hyderabad. So message is in the encoded format. So encrypt this message. So this is the encryption of this message will be there, and then you decrypt message. Say it is coming in the triplet Hyderabad again. Okay. So this is how in practice something public key based RSA algorithms works. Okay. Yeah, so I think it is clear. So I'll go a little bit about something known as the defilement key exchange algorithms, because that is one of the most important things, how to exchange the key protocol. Then I'll come to basically the some digital signatures part. Okay. So defilement key exchange protocol. So what is the purpose is that, so how the two parties A and B, they can exchange or they can establish a common secret key between them, so that they can use that key using symmetric key encryptions for their secure communications. So in this case, so there are two inventors are there. So Diffie was there in the time of the student of Professor Martin Hellman. Okay, so it was there. So Martin Hellman was there, and so he's from Stanford University. So what is this defilement key exchange algorithm tells that, say suppose that user A is there. So user A will select a private key XA, so which is less than some the large prime number, say Q. So once this private key is chosen, then it will calculate something known as the public key YA. So here Y equal to alpha power XA modulo Q, where alpha is something known as the primitive root of Q. So some primitive root of Q concept is that if you do the power alpha power 1, alpha power 2, and alpha power say Q minus 1, so all will be distinct numbers and last numbers will be actually 1. So that is something known as the primitive root of Q. So then what that user A will do, that user A will send its public key along with the global public parameters to the user B. So once user B receives this one, so what user B will do, that user B will again select a private key XB, and which is less than Q. Then it will compute the public key YB, where YB will be primitive root alpha power XA mod Q. So then it will exchange this public key YB to the user A. So therefore note that user A has the public key of YB, user B has the public key of Y. Now then what user A will do, that user A will use its own private key XA, use the public key of YB received from the YB to calculate a key, that is YB power XA mod Q. And similarly user B what will do, that it will use its own private key XB, and it will take that public key of A, that is known as the YA power XB, it will do modulo Q to calculate the key. And fortunately, so these two keys are same, that we will show here. So in summary, what we are telling that the user A simply selects a private key XA mod XA less than Q, large prime number, calculate the public key YA equal to alpha power XA mod Q. It sends the YA to the user B. Now user B will select a private key XB, calculate the public key YB equal to alpha power XB mod Q. It will send the public key YB to the user A, and user A will calculate the secret key shared with user B as the alpha YB power XA mod Q, and it will also calculate the key KBA YA power XB mod Q. Now, interestingly, that is, they have shown that these two keys, that is basically that calculated by both the parties A and B, are same. So that is the beauty of these algorithms. So meaning that by exchanging only the public informations by the user A and user B, and they will use their own private informations or private key to come up with a common secret session key. And that session key can be used for now encryption and decryptions using symmetric key based encryptions techniques for secret communications. Okay, so therefore, so if we look at that, so therefore k be equal to this one. If we expand a little bit more, so that is coming out to be y a power xp, which is equal to kpa. Therefore, both the keys are same here. So as an example, say for example, you can take one example here, small example. In this case, suppose a user A has a private key x equal to 5, and we want to compute A's public key ya. So ya will be alpha power x mod q, alpha primitive root equal to 7, 7 power 5 mod 71, which is equal to 51. Similarly, if user B has the private key xb equal to 12, the B's public key will be 7 power 12 modulo 71, which is equal to 4. So next question is that, so what will be the secret shared key? User A has private key 5, user B has the private key 12, user B has the public key ya equal to 51, user A has public key yb equal to 4. So therefore, secret key, shared secret key is calculated by the user A equal to kb equal to yb power xb mod q. Yb is 4, xa equal to 5, 4 power 5 modulo 71 equal to 30. And by the user B, kba equal to ya power xb mod q, ya will be 51 power xb 12 modulo 71, which equal to 30. So therefore, this will be the common secret shared key between users A and B. A more demo that can be obtained here. So this is things. So from there that you can see that. So for example, here G means here primitive root alpha, P means Q equal to prime number. Say for example, Alice will choose say the 198 randomly secret key less than Q. Say it is chooses say for example 512 randomly things. So therefore, if they do it, that you'll see that both the keys that basically the are same here. Okay. So by the user A, Alice and Bob, both the keys derived by them are basically same. Okay. Yeah, any questions up to this part? Any questions? Any questions on this public key based
settings. Yeah, the security of RSA algorithms depends on the difficulty of the integer factorization problem. Means given the integer n, can you derive the 2 prime factors p and q in polynomial time, which is hard problem. For the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, so it is based on something known as the discrete logarithm problem. So for example, given y equal to alpha power x modulo q, so you know alpha, you know q, you know y. Can you determine the discrete logarithm upper x? It is very hard problem. Okay, so that is known as the discrete logarithm problem. Okay, so then we'll move to the something known as the elliptic curve based crypto systems, which will be the last crypto primitives before explaining something on blockchain, how the blockchain uses these concepts there. Okay, so in this case, so what we'll cover that as follows in the elliptic of cryptography. Again, this is mathematical, but don't need to worry about the mathematics. I'm just reducing mathematics as much as less as possible. So intuitively, so you can tell that there is a curve with the equations y square equal to x cube plus x plus b modulo q p, where p is the prime number. There is something condition is that for a cube plus 20 b square equal to 0, so that these equations will have non-zero solutions. So now, if you find all the solutions in the form x comma y, along with a point at infinity or 0 point, known as something point which is far from the origin, then that set is denoted by EP a comma b, which is called something on the elliptic curve. And one of the property that elliptic curve under the modulo additions operations, modulo additions modulo p operations here, p the prime number, the forms a group or abelian group or commutative group. So where that point at infinity or 0 becomes the something known as the additive identity. And for the inverse, so what is taken is that, so if you are having a point P having the x coordinate x and y coordinate y, the inverse or projections or is taken as the that is minus P, which is nothing but x comma minus y. So the next questions come that, so how many points can be there in an elliptic curve? That question is will be difficult when particularly P is very large. For example, elliptic curve based crypto systems, the prime number P chosen as the 160-bit prime numbers, which is large prime. So there, and you know that since prime number series, that when series is very large, that there is no two consecutive primes are there. There is a large discontinuity in the prime numbers in the series. And due to those jumps, etc., the number of points in the elliptic curve finding is difficult. And there is an approximation formula is there, but due to mathematician Hasse, so he told that if the number of points in the elliptic curve is denoted by hash of A, the lower bound of the number of points will be p plus 1 minus 2 square root of p, and upper bound will be p plus 1 2 square root of p. But approximately, an elliptic curve points will have roughly p points when p is very large. For example, 1024 bits number. Now there are two types of that operations which are basically available here. So one operations which is known as the modular, basically that that is the additions operations. Okay, so in that case, what we will have that
suppose you are having the 2 points P and Q in the elliptic curve, and such that P not equal to minus Q. The minus Q means this is the projections of the Q, that is will be here, it will be here minus Q. So if P not equal to minus Q or P not equal to Q, both points are not same, then what you do that you draw a straight line passing through the points P and Q. And if the straight line say cuts at a third point, say here, and if you take its image point, that will give the additions of the 2 points P and Q. This is how the additions of the 2 points in the elliptic curve takes place. In other words, so if the points are same, P equal to Q, then what we have, that P plus P equal to twice P, which is known as the doubling a point P. So then what we'll do that, you simply draw a tangent passing through the point P. And if the tangent cuts at a point, say R here, and you take its inverse of the point, so that will be taken as the doubling of the 2 points, that is twice P equal to P plus P. Now, based on this geometrical problem, so one can solve geometric problems given 2 points P and Q. So additions of the 2 points P and Q will be, say R having the x coordinate XR, y coordinate YR, which determine either XR equal to lambda square minus XP minus XP modulo P, YR equal to lambda into XP minus XR minus YP modulo P, where lambda is the slope of the line when passing through the points P and Q in the first case, and this will be the slope of the tangent passing through the points P. So let us take one of the example here. Say for example, and another thing is that, say for example, if we are having, say you want to do the point, say additions, repeated additions. For example, if we want to do the 5P operations, then what we can do, the P plus P plus P plus P. So you first do the P plus P, you'll get twice P plus P, thrice P plus P, 4P plus P, 5P will take. Or in general, given a scalar K, so K dot P will be P plus P K times. So that is known as the scalar multiplications on elliptic curve over the finite field. So in this example, say let us take, so you are given the 2 points P and Q in the elliptic curve, EP 23, 1, 1. Then we want to compute P plus Q and twice P. So in that scenario, what we'll have, that we'll have this P not equal to minus it, this first formula will be valid, so lambda equal to this one. So if we look at that, we'll get lambda equal to 21. Then XR will be by this formula, lambda value is put it here, lambda will put it here, then we'll get it here 7,12 by the P plus Q equal to 7,12. Now for doubling things, so we'll have this formula lambda equal to this one. So slope of the tangent passing through the points P. So in that case, if you put it here, so lambda value will be 7. If you substitute here, XR will be 4, YR will be 0. So twice P will be 4, 0. Now in this case, so we are having some problem, something known as the discrete logarithm problem, which is known as the elliptic curve discrete logarithm problem. So which tells that if an attacker is given the elliptic curve and 2 points P and Q will be of the form K into P, that is P plus P K times, an attacker does not know P, can attacker determine K from P and Q? Answer is difficult when the prime number P is very large. For example, 160-bit prime number. So therefore, the elliptic curve discrete logarithm problems, ECDLP problem, that asks to determine the discrete logarithm K. So when that you are giving the P and Q, where Q equal to of this form K dot P. Okay. And he is the inventor, so known as the Neil Koblitz, so inventor of the elliptic curve based crypto systems. So we'll go to this point here, something known as the elliptic curve digital signatures here. Okay. So elliptic curve digital signatures is as follows. So let us first talk about something known as the a digital signature. So what is digital signatures? So a signature scheme will be a 5-tuple. In the first component P, which is known as the finite set of possible messages. Suppose that you are having a message. The message needs to be signed to make a signature which will be from this set A, that is known as the set of all possible signatures. And creations of the signatures require private key, and verifications require the public key. Therefore, the private and public key will come from this set known as the key space. And S will be the set of all signatures algorithms. B will be the set of all corresponding verifications algorithms. Now, what is the signing algorithm or signatures algorithms? Talks about that. So signature algorithms, what it will take, that it will take a private key K. With the help of the message, it will produce a signature. And where the verifications algorithms will take the message along with the signature, then it will validate whether the signature is valid or true. Answer is true. If it is invalid, it will return answer as false. So which means that the verification algorithms will return the true value when the signature is valid, and it will return the false value when signature is invalid. And so note that, so X is nothing but the plain text message, and Y is nothing but the signature. And if we combine both things, that is the pair X, Y, this pair is known as the signed message. So Y is known as the signature of the messages. So in this direction, so blockchain technology uses something known as the elliptic curve digital signatures algorithms. So let us talk about that a little bit about these signatures algorithms. So in this algorithm, so we are having something known as the key generations algorithms. So therefore, the signer or sender will generate the signature private key and public key pairs. Suppose that entity A is the signer, so it will generate the private key public key pair as follows. The signer A will first generate randomly A, which is known as the private key, and then compute something Q as known as the public key known as the K.G. K is nothing but the private key dot G. G is nothing but a point in the elliptic curve whose order is very large, known as the base point. So K.G means that G plus G plus G K times. If you add G repeatedly K times, then we'll get the point Q. Okay. So once that key generations algorithm is done, that means that signer has the private key, make the public key to be public in the public, including attacker knows the public key of the also the signer. So next, that in signer, what will do, that it will apply something known as the signature generations algorithms. So what it will do that, so suppose it has a message M. For this message M, signature, digital signatures needs to be created. So for this purpose, so it will select a random or pseudo-random integer L, then compute L.G as the elliptic point having the x coordinate x1, y coordinate y1. Then it will set r equal to x1 modulo n. If r equal to 0, then it will go to step 1 because it will be trivial solutions we don't want. Otherwise, you will be calculated as the hash of the message M. So this is the cryptography hash functions. It will take the message M. It will produce hash of the message M. For example, the blockchain uses SHA-256 hash functions, cryptography hash functions. So therefore, output will be 256-bit string as the hash output. So once each produce, the S will be computed as the L inverse into E plus KR. Note that K is the private key of the signer. Here we are using the private key of the signer so that this signature can be created by the signer only and nobody else. So this is the beauty of this signature algorithm. Signature is created with the help of the signer's private key. K is the signer's private key. So A signature on the message M will be R, R and S will be there. So once the signature is created, the message, that is the M, along with the signature R, S will be sent to the verifier. So verifier needs to apply something known as the verifications algorithms. So what is that? The verifications algorithms, it will verify whether R and S are integers in between 1 and n-1 or not. If they are so, then it will compute E equal to H of M, that is H of message M. Once it computes E, please note that signature verification algorithms verifier has only the public information, no private information are available. M was public, it will calculate the H of M, E can be computed. Now S and R are public. So it will use the S inverse modulo N, it will get the W U1, U1 equal to EW, E into W modulo N. U2 equal to R into W, R is public and W is computed, modulo N. And it will compute X equal to a point, elliptic of point equal to U1 dot G plus U2 dot Q. This elliptic of point will be computed. And this elliptic of points is point at infinity, then it will reject the signature, otherwise it will compute V equal to X1 modulo N, where X equal to, say, having X coordinate as the X1 and Y coordinate equal to Y1. And then essentially we are accepting the signature if the V equal to R. And if V equal to R, then the signature is accepted, otherwise the signature is rejected. So that is something known as the elliptic digital signatures algorithms. And of course, the security of these algorithms depends on the security of the elliptic discrete logarithm. So for example, one of the demo that we can probably go for that if it works. So okay. Say for example, we can generate elliptic parameters. So for example, you give some message. Say this is CBP, say FBP, say talk at say TBM. So you sign the message. So if you sign the message, signature value consisting of R, S is generated. Then if you verify the message, so it will give the output either it is a valid message or invalid message. Say verify it. So it is telling that it is a valid message. So one can tell that, say for example, adversary say changes here, say message. Say for example, talk at TTT, this is say A has been say inserted here. So therefore, if it verify that, it will tell that it is invalid. This is signature message. So even say adversary say intentionally say change the signature also in some value to F here, but when verified it will be invalid ECDC signature. And because that adversary does not have private key of the signer, adversary will not be able to generate any type of digital signature on behalf of the signers. Okay. Okay, so let us then combine all the things together. Okay, and after that we can take questions. Okay, Okay, so meanwhile, do you have any questions? So before going to the last part, any questions, anything? ECC is better than RSA because of the complexity, reduced complexity. Because in the ECC, it has been seen that if we use the P2B prime number to be 160-bit prime number, the same level of security can be achieved in the RSA with 1024 bits modulus n. And that's why in the RSA, your encryption and decryption functions are much slower than the ECC encryption and decryption functions. Hence, ECC is far better because with the less or the smaller key bit size, we are achieving the high security as well as the speed of encryption and decryption functions are much better than the RSA based crypto systems. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, so then let us move to something known as the last part. And what I would try to convince you that these discuss cryptographic primitives will be useful how to construct blocks in the blockchain. Okay, because I think that you now know better what is the blockchain, how blocks are formed, and you are having consensus mechanisms or putting mechanisms by which a block can be mined and added in the blockchain or local ledgers of the nodes in a P2P networks. Okay. So therefore, I will not go to that part. Just I will highlight something and go to the uses of cryptographic primitives in the block formations. So in this direction, so we know about the blockchain because there are 3 pillars: decentralization, transparency, and immutability. And immutability property can be achieved using the cryptographic hash functions because in each and every block we are having storing the hash of the previous block. If the previous hash block is not corrupted, then or even it is corrupted, so therefore hash of the current block will give the whether the block is corrupted or not. So therefore, crypto hash functions has a huge influence. So huge influence in the basically maintaining the immutability property. Okay, so these are yeah. So I'll come to this point again. Now suppose that you consider any applications. For example, we'll talk of course about the applications in the next lectures. For example, you are having an IoT applications where all the IoT devices connected. They're connected to the gateway node. IoT devices are say gathering all the informations. Informations are coming to the gateway node securely. Gateway node is making the transactions. So gateway node are passing to the fog node attached to the gateway node. The fog node is basically making a block, and finally that block will be mined in a P2P cloud server networks. All these things are there. Okay. For example, in case of say private blockchain, if we look at that here, say for example, your block header will consist of the block versions, which is a block unique block versions number, previous block hash, that is the hash of the previous block. Then we are having something known as the Marklet root, which is the a complete balanced binary tree on the all transactions present in the block payload. So which means that all the leaf nodes in the tree will have the transactions. Then we can have the timestamp, the block creation time when the block was created, owner of the block, who is the owner of the block, identity there. So a block payload here, say in case of the private blockchain, we are having all the transactions are encrypted here. So the transactions are encrypted using the public key of the owner, so that owner can only decrypt the transactions. So then we are having the current block hash. So hash value of the current block, all the fields, including the block headers as well as block payloads. So finally, we can put the block signatures known as the elliptic curve digital signatures on the current block hash. So the what we have discussed now. Okay. So therefore, these encryptions can be done using the elliptic curve public key based encryptions. This is signature is generated using the elliptic curve based public key crypto systems, digital signature scheme. Hash that here we are using SHA-256, that is the secure hash algorithm, 256 algorithms to produce 256 hash output and all these things. So in case of, say, for example, public blockchains, here the transactions are not encrypted. So other structures are same. So therefore, all the unencrypted transactions we are making the Marklet root. Then we are computing the current block hash. Then block signature is created using the ECDC signature. Okay. And sometimes that we require consortium or hybrid blockchain, for example, in the intelligent transport systems. So we can, majority of the transactions are public, but some of the crucial transactions are private, for example, high profile, say minister accident case, etc. So here some of the transactions can be needs to be kept secret, and most of the transactions are public. So in that case, we can have this concept of something with a hybrid or consortium blockchain. So one of the concepts that we have used here, something known as the Marklet root. So in the Marklet root, what happens that suppose that in a transaction, in a for example, in the payload, we are having, say, transactions TX1, TX2, and TXNT. Suppose that we are having, say, transactions 1, 2, 3 up to transactions 8 transactions. So then what we'll do that in the next layer. So we'll compute the hash of all the transactions. So hash of transactions 1, hash 1, hash of transactions 2, hash 2, and so on, hash of transactions 8, hash 8. Then in the next layer, what we'll do that we'll combine hash 1 and hash 2 to have the hash of 1, 2. Hash 3 and hash 4 are combined to have the hash of 3, 4. Hash 5, 6 are combined to have the hash 5, 6. Hash 7 and 8 will be combined to have the hash 7, 8. In the next layer, what we will have the hash of 1, 2, hash of 3, 4 will be combined. We have the hash of 1, 2, 3, 4. Hash of 5, 6, hash of 7, 8. We have the hash of 5, 6, 7, 8. And in the upper layer, we have the hash of hash this will have the hash of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This will be known as the Marklet root. Here root is there. So then what is giving me that? So for example, we are having the block 0, block 1, and block 2. In the block 1, we are having set of 4 transactions. So we'll create Marklet and Marklet pointer as well as Marklet root value will be stored in the block. So next question is that how to verify the block using the Marklet root. Say for example, say you want to verify a transactions or set of all transactions in a block. Say suppose that you want to verify a transactions Y, having the transactions in the block W, X, Y, and Z. So interestingly, what this Marklet root is very efficient in the sense that in order to verify the transactions Y, you need to only compute the hash value of H of Y. And then since your tree root pointer is stored in the block, you just page the H of Z correspondingly, then compute hash of Y and Z without computing hash of Z. So once you computed a hash of Y and Z, so you fetch a hash of WX without recomputing all these things, then get the hash of WX, Y and Z. So therefore, in order to verify transactions Y, what you require, that you require the computations of the 1 hash, 2 hash, and 3 hash. And these operations can be done in the log in time when n is the number of nodes in that tree, okay, which is very, very efficient. So as you have told that, so due to less popularity of the Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, okay, and because they are not much popular in India due to the political issue or due to corruptions money they are putting in the cryptocurrency, etc. Though government has put tax, etc., but it is not so popular. Okay, so that's why the researcher found that the blockchain can be applied other domains, starting from the military to civilian applications. For example, it can be used in the smart manufacturing. It could be done in the supply chain. It could be used in the food industry. It could be used in the Internet of Vehicles or Internet of Drones, or known as the UAVs, unmanned aerial vehicles networks. It can be used in the healthcare. It could be used in the smart grid. And due to these things, so we are having now a new concept, something known as the blockchain of things, so known as the BOT, just like your Internet of Things. Okay. So therefore, there are several works are there. So I'll talk about one of the applications in the next lectures on 24th. So, but meanwhile, if you are interested, so our team has able to produce several blockchain-oriented domains works. So for example, first one is from IEEE transactions on vehicular technologies, on secure data delivery and collections for Internet of Drones applications. We have done also work on the supply chains in 5G mobile edge computing environment, which was published in IEEE Transactions Industrial Informatics. Then we applied on the edge computing based generic IoT environment, that is the consortium or hybrid blockchains applications, which published in the Willy transactions on emerging technologies, telecommunication technologies. Then we also applied smart grid environment, which published in the IEEE Internet of Things journals. So then also it is possible to apply that blockchain also in the smart agriculture, the precision agriculture domain. So we published in something known as the IEEE Census journals. So finally, we have also worked on something like Internet of Vehicles domains, so which published in the Journal of System Architectures. So these are some of the highlights are there. So if you are interested, please go through that one. Also, I'll make these slides to be available to the organizers, so you can look at the slides also for your clarifications, any doubts, or any interest, or any research collaborations. You are welcome. So these are the further readings. So please follow that William Stallings, which is the most easiest book to follow as a beginner. Then, for example, Benan Manages is there. That is a good book on network security stuff. But Manages and Sania Stinson, they are highly mathematical. Only after completing this one, it will be better to follow. Neil Coblidge is a good book on number theory and specifically on the elliptic curve based crypto systems. Okay. And this is all about that. So thanks a lot for attending. So now we can take some of the questions. Yeah, any questions, anything, so we can take. Yeah, one of the question is that, yeah, you can also arrange your hand. So one of the question is the suitable cryptographic techniques for low power devices. Yeah, For low power devices, so symmetric based crypto systems, DS algorithms, and AS algorithms, advanced encryption standard algorithms. And if you look at the public key based crypto systems, it will be your elliptic curve based crypto systems. And for cryptography hash functions, it will be the your SHA-1, SHA-256, etc. And digital signatures, of course, the digital signatures algorithms, all these things are there. Okay. So these are the cryptographic primitives. So they are very, very suited for low power devices, including IoT devices. Okay. Yeah, elliptic curve algorithms is used in the signature in blockchain technologies because it is more secure, as well as it is lightweight, because that signature verifications of a block will be done efficiently as compared to the RSA algorithm. So that is the reason that why we use that basically that elliptic curve based digital signatures algorithms as compared to the RSA algorithms. Yeah, for example, in the healthcare applications, I would tell some of the publications. So please go through some of the paper because I'll talk about later sessions. Means on 24th sessions. Okay. So there are several applications of theirs of the healthcare applications. So where we can use, for example, this is one of the applications where design of a blockchain enabled secure smart monitoring systems in testbed implementations. So this is recently published. You can also have a look. So how the health monitoring systems can be implemented using blockchains, and we have also done testbed, all these things, blockchain simulations, other things are there. Okay. So that is there. So you can have all the applications. Okay. So this is one of the things, for example, healthcare. This paper you can probably go through that the IEEE transaction information fund security, yeah, artificial intelligence based secure communications in cloud computing based healthcare. So that one of the paper is there, and smart healthcare paper is there. Yeah, there are papers are there. So here you can look at that. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Das, for your such a wonderful session, giving details and in a very lucid way, explaining everything. We really enjoyed. I'm sure that participants are deeply benefited by your sessions, and you have given useful information as well, which the participants can use for further exploration in this area. As you told that you will be sharing the slides, so participants will be sharing the slides as well. We sincerely thank you on behalf of Asia Connect project team and on behalf of IIIT DMJ for such an excellent talk. It was a pleasure listening to you, Dr. Das. Participants, can you please put on your video so that we can have a picture in grid mode with Professor Das? And may I request Professor Das if you can unshare your so that we can have more people in the grid. Thank you so very much. It was really a pleasure listening to you, and we enjoyed your lecture. So very nice. It was such a nice session. So participants, we will be meeting at 12:30, and we hope that you will definitely be exploring further. Professor Das has given you opportunity for collaboration, for reading his literature. Professor Das's biography, which was given on his website, was slightly old. We are really impressed by the volume and the quality of work that you've done. And we feel proud that we have such people in India who are making significant contribution internationally. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm sending you the PPT slides now. So, okay.